Tired of feeling? Good. Look no further. Try Grandma Caedon's compliance wafers today. Eat up, or else.
48 more seconds. Here we are. Let me pull up the chat. I should use my laptop, but I'm a little afraid of the internet connectivity at the moment. So let me get this going and make sure that this works. And everything looks good in frame, which I think it does because I tested it quite a bit. Well, let's just take a look here. Channy, it's great that you're here. You might appreciate episode 1 of Caedon Reads. I might end up changing the title of the show because I feel like we could do better. Lapel mic. Yeah, lapel mic is what I'm going to do for sure. For now, this is going to have to work. The volume, I think, should be good. I was testing it earlier at this position. I'm lagging on my side. I don't know if you are getting the same. Obviously, there's kinks to work out in any new venture. No lag your side. How's the sound? Is it okay? I can always crank it a little bit if I need, but I think it should be okay. Good by you. Cool. And it's not supposed to be crazy loud. As long as it's not... As long as the ambient sound is okay as well. Let's see if I can even hear this. But I appreciate you helping with the trial run of this little show. I don't know how many episodes I'm going to do, but it's one of those where I got this set up and I can kind of leave it set up. So I should just, after a stream, take 15-20 minutes, swap over real quick, read a passage or you know, read a short story or two. If you have background music / sound, there's no music. It's just like there's faint crackling. There should be like a fire crackling. Just slight ambiance, but it might be too low. Let me see here real quick. Yeah, it's not too loud now. It sounds loud enough. How's that? Hear the fire crackles now. But it's not too, it's not too much. It sucks that it's lagging on my phone. I don't really have a good view. But it's cozy. Does it feel cozy and nice? It's supposed to feel kind of like a public access television show. It's kind of the situation we have going on here. We're just gonna read some nice cozy stories of all different types. Today we're gonna do The Raven, which hopefully this doesn't totally screw up the Zoom. But this book I found at Barnes & Noble. It's a new edition, you know, it's Barnes & Noble. But it's really cool. It's got the painted edges. I have like spooky ghosts and pyramids and hands and shit. And it's just really cool. It's really solid. It just feels nice. And it's like the classic Edgar Allan Poe collection is what it's called. And it just has most... Oh, and like look at the inside cover. I haven't even seen that. That's so sweet. That's so perfect. We need to get you fancy bookmarks too. Yeah, I'm using a little slip of paper. I thought about that today as well. I'm missing a fancy bookmark. But just a really cool edition. And gonna be perfect for this because there's some short stories, there's some poems. My favorite and you know, everyone's favorite is The Raven. It's a classic. I used to know some fun facts about Edgar Allan Poe. I've done a deep dive or two into Wikipedia, or like Wikipedia deep dives about him, and spent some time. But I know he was a very troubled man, and he, I guess maybe I should have researched beforehand. I wasn't really planning on that, but I should probably do that. Research the author first, then come in with some facts about the author, and then do a reading. That's gotta be the way to do it. Obviously, I didn't really plan this out. I didn't script it. I kind of was just like, I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna dress up all fancy like, get a cool background and setup going, and read. I didn't really plan an intro. I didn't plan anything else other than that. I don't really do that, obviously. Kind of just go for it and see what happens. Realize, okay, I'm learning as I'm going. Or, you know, like we were talking about earlier. It's a work in progress. That's exactly right. I appreciate you for being here for it, Channy, and anyone else who is currently in the chat. I can't see numbers, which is probably the best. But I guess without further ado, this would be The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this, and nothing more." Ah, distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here forevermore. It's funny too, I don't read that much these days. I'm wanting to get more into it, and so it's funny to me. I'm so out of practice with reading. I'm like stumbling over words and stuff, and I never used to do that as a kid. Like I was always a pretty damn good reader for my age, and now after so long of not consistently reading often, I'm like stuttering over words, and like I know this poem very well. You know, I know this little short very well, but I'm like stuttering over words, and it's just funny because I'm gonna look back at this if I continue this series, and I just know after doing multiple of these I'm gonna be so much more, I guess, well-spoken. At any rate, just thoughts I have. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token. And the only word there spoken was the whispered word, Lenore. This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, Lenore. Merely this, and nothing more. Verbose. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but, with mine of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door. Perched upon a bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched, and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly, grim, and ancient raven wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such a name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing further than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, "Doubtless," said I, "what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of never, nevermore." But the raven still beguiling all my sad soul into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking, "Nevermore." This I sat, engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing, to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining, on the cushion's velvet lining, that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er, she shall press, ah, nevermore. Then, methought, the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by angels whose faint footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor, Wretch, I cried, thy Goth hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, whether tempter sent or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore, quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aeden shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom the angels name Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore, quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word or our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked, upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door, quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. Pretty fucking good. It's pretty good. It's different. I mean, it's old. Very old. It's 18 and some change. Again, next one I'll have some info, some facts. All I know is I really love that poem, and I have read a couple others from Edgar Allan Poe, but I've never done like a deep dive into his stuff. And now that I have this book, I'm going to be able to do that, and I'm pretty excited for that. There's quite a few lengthier ones. They're all still short stories, but there's a couple shorter ones, and I want to save the shorter ones for the streams and the show. Bedtime story for me. Thank you, Kay. Yeah, of course. And that's kind of the idea too, with the timing. These streams aren't going to be like midday streams. These are going to be like end of the night, or like randomly when I just feel like streaming, I can just pop on and do it. And just mostly it's, I can record it and put it on YouTube and do that whole thing. And so, but these streams are going to be the late night evening streams, and hopefully they're going to be the bedtime story streams. It's kind of what I'm hoping they'll turn into. But yeah, thank you, Channy. Much love. I appreciate you for sticking around. And yeah, thanks for being part of the first episode. See you next time. Sleep well. Alright, I think that's where I'm going to cut it for YouTube. And then I'll just put some words and shit here. But that's dope. Let's pop back over to the games, I think. I'm going to just do a little trial edit of that tomorrow. And see if that's something people are interested in watching. See how it does on the YouTubes. Guys, chat.